You know what your problem is?
I ain't got no problem, man. Don't tell me. Don't tell me what my problem is.
The streets of Atlanta are buzzing. The blogs are going wild, and fans of love and hip-hop, Atlanta are still trying to wrap their heads around the bombshell. Lil Scrappy has reportedly been fired from the show after an explosive confrontation with fellow castmate Khaotic. Now, we've seen Scrappy get into arguments before. This isn't his first time raising his voice on camera. But according to insiders, this situation was different. This time, Scrappy allegedly crossed a line producers couldn't ignore, threatening Khaotic in a way that left the entire set frozen. Cameras were rolling, cast members were screaming, "Spicider!" and security had to step in before things spiraled out of control. For years, Scrappy has been one of the show's most memorable faces. His love life, his ups and downs with Erica Dixon, his roller coaster relationship with Bambi, all of it made him reality TV gold. But was the very same passion that kept viewers glued to their screens the thing that ultimately ended his time on the show? And here's the kicker: some folks are already whispering that this wasn't just a spur-of-a-moment explosion. No, some believe Khaotic may have pushed Scrappy on purpose, baiting him into a fight to claim more screen time and solidify his own position on the show. If true, then this firing isn't just a scandal. It's a betrayal. So, was Scrappy unfairly set up? Or did his own temper finally cost him everything? When it comes to love and hip-hop, Atlanta, the drama is never far away. Far. But this time the spotlight isn't on a messy breakup, a side chick revelation, or a baby mama war. Nope, this storm is centered on Lil Scrappy, one of the OGs of the franchise, and his shocking fallout with Khaotic. It all began during what was supposed to be just another heated argument for the cameras. Scrappy already feeling the weight of personal battles, off-cam rumors of financial struggles. His split from Bambi and constant online criticism wasn't exactly in the mood for any extra chaos. But chaos is exactly what Khaotic brought to the table, according to multiple insiders close to the show. The incident happened during a group scene that producers hoped would spark a little bit of drama. These group scenes are always risky. The cast is gathered, the liquor flows, producers encourage them to speak their truth. And if there's one thing Scrappy has never shied away from, it's speaking his truths, sometimes a little too loudly. But what nobody expected was how far things would spiral. The moment Khaotic allegedly started mocking Scrappy, bringing up his failed relationship with Bambi, suggesting that Scrappy was washed up and no longer relevant, the tension in the room snapped like a rubber band stretched too far. Scrappy reportedly stood up, his voice booming, calling out Khaotic in a way that sent shivers through the set. And when he took a step closer, pointing his finger, everyone froze. Now, reality TV arguments are one thing. Fans are used to castmates yelling, flipping tables, storming out of rooms. It's part of the formula that keeps the show alive. But this wasn't your typical reality fight. Witnesses claim Scrappy's words carried a threat that didn't sound like it was just for the cameras. Security immediately stepped in, pulling the two men apart before fists could fly. Producers rushed in too, whispering nervously, already realizing they had a serious problem on their hands. The footage, insiders say, showed Scrappy going to a place they had never seen before. Place too dark to just laugh off in editing. What makes this even wilder is the rumor that Khaotic might have planned it. Yes, you heard that right. Some sources claim Khaotic had been feeling overshadowed and underpaid compared to the OGs on the show. By provoking Scrappy into a blow-up, Khaotic may have thought he could steal the spotlight. And if that was his plan, it worked, just not in the way anyone expected. Because instead of Khaotic being punished for stirring the pot, it was Scrappy who faced the hammer. Producers reportedly held an emergency meeting after reviewing the footage, discussing whether they could even air the scene without facing backlash. And in the world of VH1, where controversy sells, you know it had to be serious if they were even considering cutting it. Fans, of course, caught wind of the drama almost instantly. Social media blew up with tweets and Instagram posts speculating about what went down. Some fans defended Scrappy, saying he's always been real and maybe just had a bad day. Others accused him of letting his anger destroy his career, arguing that at his age and with his legacy, he should know better. But here's where it gets really messy. Behind the scenes, Scrappy allegedly begged producers to let the incident slide. He claimed he was provoked, that Khaotic crossed lines about his family and personal struggles that no man would tolerate. And while some producers sympathized, others argued the network couldn't take the risk. Love and Hip Hop thrives on drama. Yes, but when the drama crosses into threats that feel too real, the network has to protect itself. Liability, brand image, and public safety all come into play. So, according to insiders, the decision was made. Lil Scrappy would be fired from the show, effective immediately, and just like that, one of the cornerstones of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, was out. No farewell episode, no grand send-off.
Me talking gangster. I never talked gangster. I never threatened him. I don't play no victim. I just don't do all that fake gangster talking and all that there. You came at me talking gangster. First of all, if I say anything slick or say anything crazy out my mouth, I got
Grand send-off, just a quiet, behind-the-scenes firing that fans only learned about through leaks and whispers. For Scrappy, this was more than just losing a job. This was losing his platform, his chance to stay relevant in the industry, his steady paycheck, and his connection to the fans who had ridden with him through every high and low. But the big question remained. Was Scrappy truly at fault, or was he set up to fail? Some castmates allegedly sided with him, saying they had seen Khaotic baiting him for weeks, dropping shady comments, mocking his rap career, and even bringing up Bambi in ways that were clearly designed to push him over the edge. If true, then Scrappy may have walked into a trap, one that cost him everything. On the other hand, critics point out that Scrappy has a history of letting his temper run wild. From past fights on the show to messy public arguments on social media, this wasn't the first time he lost control. And in Hollywood, especially reality TV. Producers may love drama, but they hate unpredictability they can't control, so as the dust settled, fans were left to wonder, did Scrappy just make the biggest mistake of his career? Or was this the final nail in a coffin that had been building for years? The moment word got out that Lil Scrappy had been fired, the entire Love and Hip Hop Atlanta universe erupted. Fans couldn't believe it. How could the man who had been there since season 1, who helped carry the show's legacy, be cut out so suddenly? But according to production insiders, there was no choice. The network was under pressure. Some crew members were reportedly shaken by how intense the argument got, saying Scrappy's threats felt too real to just chalk up as entertainment. One producer allegedly told a colleague, "This isn't just TV anymore. This could get someone hurt." Meanwhile, social media became a war zone. Team Scrappy versus Team Khaotic was all anyone was talking about. Twitter threads stretched for miles, with fans digging up old clips of Scrappy's blow-ups over the years, comparing them to the new drama, and debating whether this was just who he was, or if the producers had set him up. Some fans were ruthless. Scrappy has been wild since season 1. He finally crossed the line. Y'all can't keep excusing him. Threatening a castmate isn't entertainment. It's dangerous. VH1 made the right call, but others refused to let their face go down like that. Nah, Khaotic knew exactly what he was doing. He baited Scrappy, and y'all know it. Scrappy is reality TV gold. Without him, the show is dead. The division in the fanbase showed just how powerful Scrappy's presence had been. Love him or hate him, the show simply didn't feel the same without his energy. Behind the scenes, Scrappy was reportedly devastated. For years, he had counted on the show not just for a paycheck, but for relevance. In an industry where rappers can fade into obscurity fast, Love and Hip Hop kept him in the spotlight. Now, with one blow-up, that light had gone dark. Sources close to him claimed he spent days blowing up phones calling producers, calling Mona Scotchung, even reaching out to castmates he wasn't cool with, begging them to vouch for him. But the network's mind was made up. Scrappy was out, and if losing his job wasn't bad enough, the whispers started spreading that he might also face legal issues. Reports surfaced that Khaotic's team was considering filing a formal complaint with VH1, citing workplace safety concerns. That meant if Scrappy tried to fight the firing in court, things could get even uglier. But Scrappy wasn't about to go quietly. Days after the story broke, he jumped on Instagram Live. His face looked tired, his energy drained, but his voice was full of fire. "Man, y'all know me. I ain't no angel, but I ain't no demon either. They know what they did. They set me up, brew. I have been holding this show down for years, and they let a clown like Khaotic run me off? Nah, that ain't right." The Live pulled in tens of thousands of viewers, fans flooding the comments with love and support. Some begged him to sue the network, others told him to focus on his rap career again. But the most shocking part came when Scrappy hinted that producers had been stirring the pot for months behind the scenes. "Y'all don't even know half the stuff they cut out. They've been trying to paint me as the villain. Y'all just see the end of it. But this has been brewing. That statement opened a whole new chapter of the drama. Suddenly, fans started questioning the network's editing, pointing out how reality TV manipulates narratives. Was Scrappy really the villain, or just the fall guy in a bigger game? Meanwhile, Khaotic wasted no time claiming his moment. He went live the very next day, sipping champagne, laughing, and saying, "I told y'all I'm the new king of this show. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen, period." That one video sent fans into a frenzy. To many, it looked like Khaotic was gloating, basking in Scrappy's downfall. And if there was any doubt that he had intentionally provoked Scrappy, this video only fueled the fire. Even other castmates started chiming in. Erica Dixon, Scrappy's ex, dropped a cryptic tweet. "Karma always comes back around." Fans immediately speculated whether she was talking about Scrappy's firing or maybe hinting at deeper drama between him and Khaotic Bambi. On the other hand, reportedly stayed quiet. The silence spoke volumes, with fans wondering if she had washed her hands of the entire mess. The network, for its part, remained tight-lipped. VH1 issued a bland statement about prioritizing the safety and well-being of cast and crew, but refused to comment on Scrappy directly. That only added fuel to the rumors. After all, when a network refuses to defend one of its biggest stars, the writing is on the wall. And yet, even with all the backlash, ratings for Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta spiked. Everyone wanted to see the fallout. Everyone wanted to know if VH1 would air the footage of Scrappy's blow-up. Leaks suggested producers were still debating whether to show it or bury it. Airing it could spark controversy and backlash. Not airing it would leave fans feeling cheated. In the middle of all this, Scrappy made another move. He teased on Twitter that he was working on a tell-all interview, one that would expose not just what happened with Khaotic, but the dark side of Love and Hip Hop production. If that's true, then VH1 may have more problems on their hands than just a fired cast member. But whether or not Scrappy's story ever sees the light of day, one thing is clear: the aftermath of his firing has shaken the entire Love and Hip Hop world. Fans are divided, the cast is divided, and the network is walking on eggshells. As one insider put it, this isn't just a firing. This is the start of a war. As the dust settled on Scrappy's firing, one question echoed across social media: what's next for Lil Scrappy? For years, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta wasn't just a paycheck, it was Scrappy's identity. He wasn't just a rapper anymore. He was a household name in reality TV. Losing that platform meant losing relevance in a culture where visibility equals power. But Scrappy wasn't ready to fade into the shadows. Insiders say he immediately started plotting a comeback. Rumors swirled about him pitching his own spin-off show, something raw and unfiltered that would let him tell his side of the story. Whether any network would touch it after the VH1 scandal, though, was a different question. Meanwhile, whispers about what really happened on set started leaking. A crew member, speaking anonymously, claimed what y'all saw on camera wasn't even half of it. The producers kept pushing. They knew Scrappy had a short fuse, and they wanted that moment. When he finally snapped, they acted shocked, but they created the fire. They lit the match. This bombshell fed into Scrappy's narrative that he had been set up. Fans began demanding VH1 release the uncut footage so the truth could come out. Hashtags like hashtag Justice for Scrappy and hashtag Free the Tapes started trending at the same time. Khaotic seemed to be enjoying the spotlight a little too much. His constant Instagram lives, where he mocked Scrappy and called himself the new Prince of ATL, only fueled speculation that he had provoked Scrappy, intentionally to secure his own spot on the show. Some fans started calling him the villain VH1 wanted, but Scrappy had something Khaotic didn't: loyalty. Despite the controversy, thousands of fans refused to turn on him. They remembered his early days in hip-hop, his raw energy, his authenticity. They saw him as a man pushed into a corner by reality TV's manipulative machine. One fan tweeted, "Scrappy may be wild, but he's real. These new cats are fake drama. I'd rather watch the Prince of Crunk any day than these clout chasers." And that loyalty became Scrappy's biggest weapon. Instead of sulking, he leaned into it. He started dropping hints of new music, previewing gritty tracks that spoke directly to betrayal, loyalty, and survival. In one clip, he rapped, "They cut me off the show, but they can't cut my soul purr. I've been fighting demons way before the cameras rolled." It was clear. Scrappy wanted to remind the world he wasn't just a reality star. He was still an artist. Behind the scenes, though, the struggle was real. Financially, losing love in hip-hop was a major hit. Touring wasn't what it used to be, and with rap's younger generation dominating the charts, Scrappy faced an uphill battle. Friends close to him say he wrestled with depression, feeling betrayed not just by the network but by castmates who stayed silent. And yet, in the middle of the storm, Scrappy found an unexpected ally. 50 Cent, the rap mogul, known for speaking his mind, reportedly reached out to Scrappy privately, encouraging him to flip the narrative. One insider claimed 50 told him, "Don't let them use you and throw you away. Own your story. They need you more than you need them." If true, that advice may have been the fuel Scrappy needed. Soon after, he began teasing a documentary project, an unfiltered behind-the-scenes look at reality TV's dark side. If Scrappy followed through, it could shake the entire franchise. Meanwhile, whispers of lawsuits began circling. Some speculated Scrappy was exploring legal options against VH1 for wrongful termination, citing unsafe work conditions. Others believed he would never actually sue, knowing the industry blacklist could be career-ending. Either way, the possibility alone kept the network nervous. And then came the biggest twist of all. In a leaked group chat screenshot, allegedly between cast members, someone hinted that Khaotic wasn't innocent either. The message claimed Khaotic had thrown verbal threats of his own off camera, which producers conveniently left out of the storyline. If true, it would mean the firing was more about politics than actual safety. Fans immediately latched onto this theory, so Scrappy gets fired for threats, but Khaotic didn't? Nah, that's shady. VH1 protecting their new toy. They wanted Scrappy gone for a while. Whether or not the leak was real, it reignited the debate. Was Scrappy really the villain or just the scapegoat? By now, it was clear that Scrappy's story wasn't over. Even outside the VH1 bubble, he was still trending, still sparking conversations. And in entertainment, that's currency. But what about the man himself? Those close to him say Scrappy had one focus: his legacy. He didn't want to be remembered as the guy who got fired for threats. He wanted to be remembered as someone who fought, who stood his ground, who refused to be broken by a machine designed to chew people up and spit them out. In one emotional Instagram post, he wrote, "I ain't perfect, but I ain't fake. They tried to play me, but I'm still here. And when I come back, y'all gonna see the real story." The comments exploded with love. Fans, fellow rappers, even some old castmates dropped supportive messages. Whatever else happened, one thing was clear: Scrappy wasn't canceled. Not in the streets, not in the culture, and that's the irony. VH1 may have fired him to protect the brand, but in doing so, they made him bigger than the show. Scrappy had become a symbol of loyalty, of resistance. of raw authenticity in an industry that thrives on faker. As one fan perfectly put it, they fired Scrappy from LHH, but they didn't fire Scrappy from ATL. He is still the Prince of Crunk, and that crown doesn't come off. So what happens next? Maybe Scrappy will rebuild his rap career. Maybe he drops that tell-all documentary and blows the lid off reality TV. Maybe he even finds his way back to VH1 one day, as reality stars so often do. But one thing is certain, Lil Scrappy's story isn't over. If anything, firing might just be the beginning of his greatest chapter yet. Because in Atlanthand, hip-hop aren't made in the spotlight. They're made in the struggle, and there you have it. Lil Scrappy's shocking firing from Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. But here's the real question. Do you think VH1 set him up for failure? Or did Scrappy finally go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear who you think was really in the wrong. Scrappy, Khaotic, or the producers pulling the strings? If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next big update. Because trust me, this story is far from over. The Prince of Crunk might just come back louder than ever. Until then, keep your eyes open because in reality TV, the drama never sleeps. Drama never sleeps.